is for sure passing that. Oh, nice.
Nice call for it with eggs.
I see you, really? Oh, let's go.
Oh yeah, third. That's a Hattie. Oh no!
Again.
Back to him.
Oh,
The game
post challenge, dude.
Into the final 20 minutes.
Ooh.
Oh.
Dang.
Actually, rapid. It's crazy. Oh,
He
Get that.
backed up. Yeah, that's oh my. You want?
oh bro, I wanted it so bad.
Well, they look rusty in that opening game.
The reads.
Oh yeah.
5 in the back.
Yeah, that was actually a good pass.
Here on. Bang it. Yeah.
Especially because you can have women now. Oh my gosh, you know how many people would have that name? You don't want any of that. You don't even have 5 stars, do you?
Nah.
Crazy. They don't know what to do. Like, they're just down 2. Ay.
Oh yeah. Yep, you're on.
Ah,
Unlucky. Right here. Got me. Oh, he's so tiny.
Oh yeah. Take that.
I switched the builds to the long shot perk and then just did that to him. It's now time for our first center mid pro player build, which will be Kevin De Bruyne, aka KDB. And in this video, I'm actually going to show you guys 2 different versions that y'all can choose from of this KDB build, because I really just couldn't decide which one I wanted to do. And there's a bunch of different things you could do for like a De Bruyne build, because he's pretty well rounded when it comes to stats and pretty much all the categories. Like defense is his lowest, so I could have done a lot of different things. So I decided to make 2 different builds and give y'all the options of which 2 to make. So let's get started right away with this KDB build. Of course, we're center mid. This is going to be more of a box-to-box center mid build. The height I chose was 5'10". I think he's listed as 5'11" on FIFA, so you could go 6 foot, but I decided to go 5'10". It's right in the middle. Like, you could go 5'11" also, but there's really no point of going 5'11" if you could just be an inch taller and be 6 foot with the same exact stats. Like, it won't change anything. So I decided to go a little bit lower and go 5'10". And then for the weight on both of these builds, it'll be 176 pounds. So for both of these builds, it'll be 5'10", 176 pounds. I'm gonna show you guys this one first, and then move on to the second one and see if we can get through these pretty quick, because it's 2 different builds. I don't wanna keep y'all here for a very long time. So that's the height and weight. Let's move on to the perks for this first one. So one of the main differences between these 2 KDB builds are the perks. The perks are completely different, and then a little bit on the skill tree. So like for this first build, we don't have a 5-star weak foot on the shooting page. I know KDB has a 5-star weak foot, but in order to get like some of the other stuff on the skill tree for this build, we just had to sacrifice the 5-star weak foot. But one thing that I just noticed, like when I was making this build without the 5-star weak foot, once we have these distance shooters, precision pass, and threaded pass, it actually gives you the 5-star weak foot as one of the benefits for all 3 of these perks. So for distance shots, you'll have a 5-star weak foot. Like just A and X passes, or X and square passes on PlayStation, you'll have the 5-star weak foot. Y through balls or triangle through balls on PlayStation, it will give you the 5-star weak foot. So it's kind of pointless to have the 5-star weak foot on the skill tree. I think it's kind of a waste if all this stuff gives you 5-star weak foot already. So like, just keep in mind that when you're in the box and like trying to shoot, you won't have a 5-star weak foot. That's a little bit of a downside. But the second build that we're gonna get to later, it'll have a 5-star weak foot on the shooting page, so you won't really have to worry about anything when it comes to the weak foot, like if you're shooting the ball in the box, or when it comes to like crossing, because we decided not to put the pinpoint cross on this build. You could switch it out for like one of these other perks if you'd like, maybe distant shooter if you don't want the distant shooter, and then you can have all 3 playmaking perks. And I know KDB, that's one of his best attributes, is whipping the ball in the box, and he has amazing crossing ability, but as a center mid, you're not going to be out wide too much, so I feel like the crossing's not as important. So I decided to not add that on this build. So these are all 3 of the perks that we have for this first KDB build: distance shooter, precision pass, and threaded pass, which is very nice. The passing ability gets enhanced even more with the precision pass and threaded pass. And also the distance shooter is very overpowered in pro clubs, and you can really bang in some long shots and get some good chances on goal. And now I think I'm just going to go to the skill tree for this build instead of showing you guys the second build, like the perks for the second build. I'm just going to go to the skill tree and get this first build done with, and then we'll move on to the second KDB build if y'all are interested in that one. So onto the skill tree for this one. We look at the physical page first, and all we have is just basically stamina increases is kind of what we're focusing on, and a little bit of reactions. So we got the top two on the left, which will give you, for only 3 skill points, if you get both of them, it'll give you +3 stamina and +2 strength. That's pretty nice. I know KDB actually has some decent strength on his cards in Ultimate Team, but we kind of just had to sacrifice that for all the other stuff on the builds. I guess if you wanted to, you could try and put physical strength on one of these builds. I didn't do that, but you could, but I don't know. I don't think it's necessary for a KDB build. And then at the top right, we went for the other stamina and then reactions. For only 4 skill points, you get +2 stamina and +4 reactions, which is nice, and it'll give you 88 reactions, which is pretty nice. And I think KDB actually has some really good reactions. Let me actually pull his card up. I was looking at it earlier when I was making this build. I was actually making both of these builds for like a good 30-40 minutes trying to figure out what would be the best for you guys. And then I actually tried both of them out, and really I don't have a preference. Tell you guys now, I really don't have a preference with these two builds. It's kind of just up to you guys what kind of playstyle you prefer. So he actually has 91 reactions, so it gets us a little bit closer to that, and that's it for the physical page. Nothing on defending for both of these builds. That's his lowest stat. Even on his 91 card, it says he has 64 defending. So actually our defending is even better than his Ultimate Team card. Dribbling, he has 4-star skills. I actually decided not to put 5-star skills or use this build with 5-star skills at all, which is fine for a box-to-box build. So what we did for this one is we got the Maestro archetype, which is what I don't really do this very much on my builds. We got the Maestro archetype, which gives you +5 ball control and +7 dribbling. So it'll give us 92 ball control and 91 dribbling. And on his gold 91 rated card, he has 91 ball control and 88 dribbling. So it's actually pretty similar, it is better than what he actually has. So that's pretty nice. Make sure you get this balance at the top left, one skill point for +2 balance. And then on this right side, you're basically going to get this agility right here, get this balance, and then you're going to go and get the Lynx archetype. I know his agility and balance isn't very good on his base card, but I just think Lynx archetype is just so overpowered. I like to have it on every single build. It just makes your build feel so much better, especially if you're in the higher divisions. You need the Lynx archetype. Really, no matter what position you're playing, unless you're playing like a defensive build, then you might not need it. But especially as a box-to-box build where you're trying to dribble and create some chances for your team and even possibly score, then I think the Lynx archetype is extremely important. And he actually has a bunch of different cards this year in Ultimate Team. He has a Team of the Year card, of course, but he also had like a signature signings card, which on that card he has 86 agility and 85 balance. So it's actually very similar to the agility and balance on that card. So that's it for the dribbling page. Move on to passing, where we have some good increases in passing. This build is the better passing build compared to the other one that we're going to get to. We have good upgrades when it comes to passing. So we have the short passing and vision. You're just going to go all the way down to the short passing and vision, and then go one to the right and get the long passing and vision. And that'll get us to 89 vision, 87 long pass, 89 short pass. 80 crossing is not too bad. I know he has amazing crossing, like I said, but it's just not worth upgrading it. And then 80 curve, which is just base attribute as well. The passing ability is very good on this build. We got upgrades on the skill tree, and we have those 2 perks, the through ball perk and the precision pass perk. So keep that in mind. And honestly, the passing ability is probably like 95 plus on most of these attributes is what I would guess, or definitely over 90. So you can throw some dimes all across the field, set your teammates up one-on-one against the goalie, and get a lot of assists with this build. And now to the shooting page, we have a decent amount of skill points here. We went for the 4-star weak foot, like I said. We don't have the 5-star weak foot on this one, but remember those perks give you the 5-star weak foot when you activate them, so keep that in mind. So what you're going to do on this top left, this is just for a shot power increase. He has a decent amount of shot power above, like even on his gold card, he has 91 shot power, which we're not going to be able to get to, but we can try and bump it up at least a bit to 80 So that's what we're going for, because the base shot power, even with all this other stuff, actually it's less than that, which is really low, 73. So this will get us more shot power, and then once we get these 6 things right here and the 4-star weak foot, it'll get us to 80 shot power, 92 long shots, 86 volleys, 77 finishing is something we really can't improve too much unless you get the finisher archetype, but that's just way too many skill points. And even on his gold card, he only has 82 finishing, so it's not too big of a deal. And remember, the distance shooter perk actually increases the shot power even more and the long shots, which is quite nice. And he has 91 long shots, so we're pretty spot on when it comes to long shots. And that's it for the shooting page for this one. And then the pace, we had to take some stuff off the pace, just don't have enough skill points to spread around. So what you're going to do is get the cheetah archetype, and then get this bottom left acceleration for +3 acceleration, and then the sprint speed at the top right. On all of his cards, he has like exactly even pace and sprint speed, like whether it be like 76, 80, 76 sprint speed, 76 acceleration. It's exactly balanced like he has on his gold card, and even on his team of the year card, he has 86 acceleration, 86 sprint speed. So we tried to get that as close as we possibly could, and we have 87 acceleration, 86 sprint speed, which really isn't too bad pace-wise for a center mid build. I really didn't have any problems with the pace. So I believe I went over that pretty quickly, faster than a lot of my other builds, but again, we have 2 different types of builds. So let me show you guys this next build, KDB version 2 V2. Same thing when it comes to height and weight and position. Center mid, 5'10", 176 pounds. And then for the perks, this is where it gets a little bit different. This time we put skill dribbler, active first touch, and tireless runner. Even though we already have like 85 stamina with the stamina increases on both of these builds, with the tireless runner, you really won't have to worry about the stamina at all. You can just run all day, and then once the 75th minute hits, you'll get even more stamina. So it's perfect for a box-to-box build. You can really annoy the other team by just running all over the place and locking them down. Even though your defensive attributes aren't that great, you can still get a lot of steals and make some defensive plays for your team. And we have skill dribbler and active first touch, which skill dribbler will increase your dribbling ability, active first touch will increase your ball control, and then it'll also increase your acceleration and sprint speed when running onto a ball. And then both of them give you the flare trait, which is kind of nice. But I think the flare trait, I don't know how it works necessarily. I feel like skill dribbler, the flare trait works no matter what. Like when it comes to passing perks, the flare trait will only work when you're doing passes. But like active first touch, the flare trait will only work when you're doing like a one-time pass. I don't know, it's really weird. I wish it would just be like overall the flare, once it says it grants you the flare trait, it would just work no matter what for any situation. But I think it's just specific to like the actual perk. Like you're only going to be able to do the flare trait on your first touches, whether it be like a first time pass or like a fancy touch, if that makes sense. So these are the perks, and once we get to the skill tree, I'll explain why I have those perks. So for the physical page for this one, it's the exact same thing, nothing different. We have the 85 stamina, and just remember we have the tireless runner. So the stamina is a lot better when it comes to just like running around all over the field and you not having to worry about your stamina. I did on the other builds sometimes like have trouble with my stamina because I was trying to guard all the people on defense and then get up the field and help our team on offense. But for this one, it's one of the main pros to this build compared to the other build because you have the tireless runner. So that's very nice. If you're a person that likes to run around a lot and use your stamina and sprint all the time, this might be the better build for you. Nothing on defense, it's the exact same, but the defensive ability really wasn't too bad on this build anyways, even though we don't have any upgrades. Dribbling, it's kind of the same, except there's one big difference. We don't have the Maestro archetype, which is the main reason why we went for the skill dribbler and active first touch to make up for not having the Maestro archetype. Because the skill dribbler will increase your dribbling and the active first touch will increase your ball control. So we have 87, 87, which really isn't too bad to start with, but having those two perks will make it even better. And honestly, the dribbling, like, I don't know if it was just because of certain games or my connection to the servers or what it was, this build felt better at dribbling than the other build, even though the other build had the Maestro archetype. I think it's just because of the two perks. They feel pretty similar when it comes to dribbling, but I don't know, sometimes it just, this one with those two perks felt better. It was kind of strange. And we have the exact same agility and balance, 87 agility and 84 balance, and it's the exact same like setup on this right side. And now to passing, where we actually have a lot of upgrades on this too. It's almost the same, except we didn't get this one, this long passing and vision. Instead, we got this long passing that gives you +4 long pass for 2 skill points, and then everything else is the same. We got this short passing and vision, and the passing's a little bit lower, I believe, than the other build, especially since it doesn't have the 2 passing perks, which is why I was saying the other build is a better playmaking build and just like long shot, distant shooter build because it has those perks. But this one's just a more just stamina beast, being able to run all over the place, more of a box to box, I would say. He's got those high work rates, so the stamina is very nice for this build. The passing ability isn't as good on this one, but remember, once we get to the shooting page, we have a 5-star weak foot, so you won't have to worry about hitting it with your weak foot with this build because you'll have a 5-star weak foot permanently. Even when it comes to being in the box and crossing the ball, you'll have the 5-star weak foot. But just looking at the stats, I know it's not as good as KDB's like cards on Ultimate Team, but they're still very good, and you can make some very good passes with these stats. So now it's back to the shooting page for this build. We have the 5-star weak foot, like I was saying, and that's really the only difference. The right side is the exact same, got the weak foot, and we got this shot power right here, but you're just going to get this free kick actually, which you're basically have to, and then you're going to get this weak foot. And you actually have a pretty good free kick actually, 91, it's not too bad. And then we get the 5-star weak foot, exactly like KDB has. He has 4-star skills, 5-star weak foot, and there you go. That's the main difference between this build and the other build, and obviously the perks and the dribbling page is pretty different as well. So now y'all can kind of see why I made 2 different versions of these KDB builds. They're very similar, but they just have some pros and cons to both. I would say this one, better just for running all over the place. And then again, you have the 5-star weak foot permanently. So when it comes to being in the box, you can use that 5-star weak foot. And when it comes to crosses, you can use that 5-star weak foot. Pretty much everything, you have the 5-star weak foot. That's the one advantage this build has. But the other build, the passing is just better for sure with those 2 perks, and the distant shooter perk is very helpful for long shots. I made a very nice long shot with this build, with the other build, because of the distant shooter perk basically. And then onto pace, it's the exact same thing, 87 acceleration and 86 sprint speed. So that's going to complete this KDB build video. We have 2 options for you guys, kind of just to fit your own playstyle. You can even try both, see which one you like most. I would actually appreciate that if you tell me in the comments which one you liked better. I really do not have a preference. This one's just really nice because you have the tireless runner, don't have to worry about the stamina, and honestly I felt like the dribbling was a bit better, even though it didn't have the Maestro archetype like this one did. But the 2 passing perks and just the passing ability on this build was phenomenal. That's one of the big differences. And then also you can hit those long shots. The long shots are a little bit more manageable because of the distance shooter perk. But again, you have that 5-star weak foot on the second version permanently, which is very nice also. I honestly do not have a preference. I like both of them. You kind of just have to try both, or just decide which one fits your playstyle more, or what you like to do more. If you like to take long shots and play make more, then go for the other build. But if you like to run around all over the place and trying to annoy the defense and use all your stamina up, then this one's going to be good because you won't have any problems. And then you have that permanent 5-star weak foot on this build as well. So that's going to do it for this build video, guys. Please leave a like on this video for me, and let me know any other build ideas that you have. I'm going to try and pump these out as fast as I possibly can, but it does take a while with the editing and getting the gameplay and doing the commentary and all that stuff. So be patient with me. Y'all have a great rest of y'all's day, like always, and peace out.